Hey there and welcome back to the Full Loader Life, the channel where we encourage one another to live our best lives in our 40s, our 50s, our 60s and beyond. Now you may remember in my last video I talked about how I was using the Nike Run Club training app to train for the Osaka Marathon, but only use it loosely because most of the runs I do in a week, in fact all the runs I do in a week, tend to be longer than the actual run in the plan. And so what I did was I just did my usual runs, just added the speed runs that are in the plan to see how that would work out for me. And for the first 2 weeks that actually worked out pretty good. And now I'm just about to begin week 3 to see how that goes. And so week 3, it still seems to be that most of the runs are still shorter than I normally do. And even the long run is about 7 miles this week. And usually I'll do at least 7.5, maybe 8 on the shortest of the trail runs I do with the trail crew, and usually a lot longer. And so I'm beginning to wonder, you know, if it wasn't for those speed runs that are building my strength quite well, am I really wasting some growth potential in not increasing my distances throughout the week? I mean, the recovery runs in week 3, the first one was only 15 minutes and the other's about 30-35 minutes. So it is getting close to my usual weekly runs, but it's still not quite there. And so again, I'm still just doing my own running plan and then just adding the speed run. And that's all I've done for this week as well. So I'm just wondering, is it really helping or not? To be fair, the speed workouts are actually pushing me beyond what I normally do. Especially I don't usually do speed runs anyway. And this week I actually have what they call a fartlek run. And no, a fartlek run is not a run where you break wind every half a mile. Although, to be fair, when you run, you do actually break wind more often than you would normally do because that's the way the body works, I guess. But seriously though, fartlek is actually a Swedish word meaning speed play. And so a fartlek run is a mixed bag of runs, almost like you put in a bunch of different interval runs on random play, different distances, different efforts, different paces. And then it's almost like a mixed up bag that you don't know what's going to come next. It's actually pretty fun, really. You're constantly switching your gears, doing different efforts, different energies. In a marathon, you're going to end up with a lot of different paces and a lot of different conditions. And so a fartlek run, not only is it going to increase your stamina and your speed and your ability to run, it also teaches you ways to adapt to different conditions. And so it's actually a great addition to your run training. And so apart from all the other distances which weren't as good as they would normally be because it's only week 3, the fartlek run certainly was a big help and I really did enjoy doing it. Now the scheduled long run was going to be 7 miles and I usually do more than 7 miles anyway, and usually I do that on my trail run, but because this week I had to drop my wife at the airport and the LAX airport is actually pretty close to the beach, and so I thought, well, why not do my long run on the beach path, because it's going to be beautiful, the weather's going to be great and the scenery is going to be awesome, so why not do that? And so it was going to be a great plan. Drop my wife at the airport and then do my long run, and that was a great plan until it wasn't. And the run actually started out great. I mean, what's not to like? I'm at the beach, the sun's out, it's the early morning cool air, and the scenery is awesome, and it's actually pretty flat, so I can get some pretty good speed up. But it was when I got to about halfway, at a point of no return really, I noticed a short, sharp stabbing pain underneath the arch of my foot, and I thought, well, that's not great. But I kept going because I just shook it out and thought, well, it's just part of being a runner, because things often hurt sometimes. And so I kept going, and the pain just started to get worse and worse and worse. And by the time I got back to my car, my foot was in so much pain, I just was relieved to get it off the ground and into my seat. And I thought, something's not right here. Now, I did notice in one of my recovery runs earlier in the week that I had a dull ache at the bottom of my foot, but I just kind of put that down to just runner's pain. I mean, when you're a runner, pain in your body is just part of the deal, really. There are things that do hurt from time to time just because you exert yourself a lot. Well, no, it wasn't the fact that I was overexerted or got some kind of runner's fatigue. No, what had happened was I actually developed a case of plantar fasciitis. Now, for those that don't know, plantar fasciitis is when the thick band of tissue underneath your foot, known as the plantar fascia that supports your arch, if it gets irritated or inflamed, it can actually cause a lot of pain to your foot, particularly under the heel and under the arch. And when you get that kind of pain, it's actually kind of hard to shake it off. It's actually a very common runner's injury because we're always putting pressure on that part of our body. And so when I realized I got plantar fasciitis, well, that had big implications to how I was going to train for the next few weeks. And there really is no quick fix cure for plantar fasciitis either. It really is a case of stretch, massage and rest, and that's pretty much all you can do with it. I mean, rolling a hard ball underneath it for a while, that really does help a lot. And so when I got home, I spent a lot of time just whacking it with a massage gun and then rolling a hard ball underneath it and alternating between those two things. And so for the next 3 days, there was no running for me and definitely no long run and no speed session. And the tricky part about a foot injury is that you kind of have to use your foot to do anything. I mean, even if you want to get up and get around your house, you've got to put weight on your foot. You want to go to the store, weight on your foot. Go to work, weight on your foot. It's really, really hard to actually rest a foot entirely. It's not like your arm where you can kind of put a lot of tasks onto your other arm and let it rest more. And so it was going to be a tough recovery thing, especially when you're training for a race. I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I still wanted to maintain some level of fitness, and I still had that dream of doing the Osaka Marathon that was going to come up. So I didn't know what to do really. I did actually go to my regular running club meet on the Tuesday and the Thursday of the week, but I didn't really run that much. I kind of walked around and really kept it a very slow, easy pace and didn't really put any weight on it. And then for the rest of the week, I was just resting it and just wondering, had my Osaka Marathon plan, had it all been shot to pieces because of this injury? And so throughout week 4, apart from those 2 easy kind of run walks, I didn't really do much in the way of training. In fact, all I was doing really was alternating between my Theragun and a hard ball under my foot to try and just wring that pain out and just try and rest it as much as possible. And I'd read that it could take from anything from a couple of weeks to a few months to actually recover from plantar fasciitis. And so I began to wonder, will I actually be ready to train for the marathon now? Because I need to rest my foot and there's no way I could actually aggravate it anymore. And of course, there's no way I'm going to be able to run 26.2 miles with that kind of pain in my foot. And so I kind of wondered, will I actually be able to complete the marathon next year? Well, that's where things stood after week 3, and week 4 became a bit of a, well, what's going to happen next? And so I'm wondering, have you guys ever dealt with an injury while training, and how did that go for you? What did you do to get your recovery going, and were you able to complete the goal that you set up for? Let us know in the comments, and if you like this kind of content, then like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in my next video.